Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah.
Hey everyone, before we begin this week's episode of the Matthew and Rizzle Show, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Proof of Beauty. Proof of Beauty is an experimental digital experience studio. The blockchain is their canvas and the tokens are their brush. You can learn more about Proof of Beauty by checking out pob.studio. You can follow them on Twitter as well at PRRF Beauty. That's PRRF Beauty on Twitter and pob.studio on their homepage to learn more about their projects like Hash, London, and Publico. Thank you and enjoy the show. Okay, Johan Mattias, welcome to the Matthew and Rizzle Show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Johan, repeat guest, Mattias, I think here for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. But really excited to dive into all things marble cards, meme, and of course the WIP with our partnership that we formed. But before we get started, Johan, if you'd be able to reintroduce yourself, and Mattias, if you want to let the folks know a little bit about yourself, your background, what brought you together with Johan and marble and meme. I think that'd be the best way to kick things off for everyone.
Sure, I can go first. Johan, co-founder of MarbleCards and MEME.com. Quick backstory on me, I love to build things. I've been in startups since high school, basically. I've always been interested in online content and how people share stuff and so on. So my projects have been in that space. My most successful one was called Strussel, which we started in 2013. And that went really well, but in 16, I got super interested in crypto and couldn't think about much else. So initially started experimenting in-house with different crypto models, but our customers didn't like crypto at all. They thought it was a scam. So then me and Mattias left the company and started working with crypto and NFTs full-time in early 2018.
I love that you just got obsessed and had to leave your previous thing.
Our own company, yeah.
It's never easy. And my story is similar, and our roads are getting together. So I was the founder of a tech startup called Saplo back in the day, more than 10 years ago. And that company, we were actually quite early in the blockchain and doing some minting of Bitcoin, since we were on an incubator with free electricity. So that was nice, but didn't jump more into the blockchain than that. Then later on, my company was acquired by Johan's company, and from there, my interest started growing when, after Johan introduced different stuff related to mostly NFTs, and when CryptoKitty happened, then it was pretty clear that there were a lot of interesting things to build in this space. So very short, that's my background.
One of the things I've always appreciated about your team and your project, and one of the reasons why I feel like the WIP teaming up with Meme Explorers was such an obvious fit is because y'all, even still, your projects are relatively old, quote unquote, within the NFT scene, but are still way out there in terms of bleeding edge, pushing the boundaries of what we can do with this tech, and interesting stuff and everything. Can you give people sort of a broad overview of the concept of marble cards, and then probably just roll that into meme as well, to give people a sense of where you're going with these, because the products are one thing, but I feel both of them are sort of like proof of concepts and like innovations in their own right. So would love to hear y'all unpack those for people who have been around for a while and in the community, but also people who are like interested in getting involved and might not know too much about it.
Yeah, totally. So like I said, our projects before crypto was around content and content distribution and so on. So what caused people to share things, to click things and engage with different things. And then when I got in crypto, one thing I was interested in early on was Dogecoin, because it felt like it was the first time you had an asset that was valuable because it had like a story. It was based on some content, in this case a meme, and that was it. And because the story was strong enough, it was valuable. And so that really resonated with me. It felt like a whole new design space. What if you can make assets or things valuable just because they have a strong story behind it? And then I started thinking, this is really cool. And what it boiled down to essentially, I think is the meme market. Like a fabled thing where you have assets, although assets are a boring word, but like things that are valuable, that are representative of things going on in the world. So quite similar to how you can consume content or news or whatever. So I thought about it around those terms, and then trying to think, okay, what can we do that is an actual product? And that was how Marble Cards was born. You take something on a web page, if it's a piece of music or a YouTube video or a tweet or whatever it is, and you have one token representing it. The way that token trends or trades will then represent the value of that thing, that web page or that content on that web page. So that's how Marble Cards was born. Well, you could describe it as it's like a tokenized bookmark. You use it to capture moments or trends on the internet and then turn them into NFTs in this way. So I think with Marble Cards, we got a lot of things right in terms of people thought it was funny and they wanted to engage with it. And then, we've had over 250,000 Marble Cards created since we launched in 2018, and several thousand cards are created each month still. So it's still going strong. But with meme, we sort of wanted to take a step back to, like I said, the meme market, because one thing we didn't quite succeed with in Marble Cards is having a sound market for them. If you create a Marble Card, you do it for yourself. The goal isn't to sell it, because there really isn't a secondary market for 99% of cards. And so with meme.com, we want to be able to capture the meme market better, in a sense. And that's what we're experimenting with now. And initially we thought the meme market, it was its own platform. Like you went there and it had tokens representing different memes and you would trade them. But as the NFT space evolved, it sort of became clear that actually the meme market is the NFT space. NFTs are financialized memes. And so where we're thinking now instead is more, how can we capture what's going on in the NFT space and make that into something that people can engage with? And so what we're experimenting with is, how can we tie memetic data? Memetics are like the science behind why an idea becomes a meme. Why? And the reason for that is often that people imitate it in different ways and spread it. So why do people spread things? So what we're experimenting with is people, like a social platform, people come in, they share the NFTs that they like, they vote on the NFTs that they like, and they tag up the NFTs that they like around these different meme trends, essentially. And using that, we hope that we can create we call it heuristics for memes, but essentially a place where you'll be able to, at a grassroots level, see what are the trends moving, driving different things for one-of-one art, for collectibles and whatever it is.
And one way of seeing it is also like you have certain tools to look at analyzing specific NFT projects, but this is more looking at like which are the trends that goes horizontal through all of these verticals, and then see what is the overlaying trend. Is it pixel art? Is it something else? What is up and coming and stuff like that? So trying to find memes and trends that are not data on right now. So trying to be more data-driven platform,
and that
but doing so in a fun way.
It ties into the Meme Explorer story, which you're also involved in now with the WIP. But like, we want a Meme Explorer to be somebody who's out there trying to discover what is hot right now, what are the trends, what is like the cutting edge of things, and we want people to be rewarded for it in different ways. Meme to earn could be one thing, but obviously we're experimenting with different ways that you earn art, that you get exposed to new artists using these, trend spotting features. But it's still very experimental. Quick side note, the way we work and that we've worked all the way since we started with Marble Cards is we're very iterative. So we like to test things. We have like a vision of where we want to go, but the way there is very unclear. And so every next step we test, we first do things manually in Discord or with like a close group of the community. And then we build bots that try these things. And then we actually build things on the site. So now we're sort of building the first on-site features for meme.com, where you'll be able to submit memes, vote on them, tag them, and see what are the hottest tags, meme tags, and so on.
Yeah, that iterative approach is something that's really stuck with me since I first met you, in particular, Johan, way back in the day on Scent, and we hopped on like some very, very early calls just talking about Marble Cards. On that point of that iterative kind of dance that you're doing with actual users, has there been anything that over the years has really like stuck with you or shocked you, or surprised you when it's come to like emergent user behavior, either with Marble Cards or these days with Meme?
There's several different things, I would say. Like, the way we build it is basically, first we try to build some idea of what we believe that the user would like to do, and then we're trying it manually. So that could be, we think that we want to have a hot or not system in this. We want to vote, is this card better than this, and so on. Then we build some sort of structure around it using spreadsheets and stuff. But I would say often we start out in one area, we end up in a totally different corner. But the good thing is that since we start testing it on Discord and we don't build everything from scratch, top up, it's okay to scrap ideas early or late in the process without any issues, compared to building stuff long term. And another thing related to this is also that I think the reason why we do this is also there is maybe two different sides on what you focus on in as a company. Either you focus on building something long term that works, or you're working on trying to make money early. And we have been clear on that early on, that sure, we want to be long term. Of course, we want to be long term, but we in no way want to like just sell stuff to make money. So we haven't raised money by selling NFTs in that way. And we're trying to find better ways to interact with our community. I think also that affects how we do the testing rather than trying to sell and make money.
Yeah, that's not to say we will never do that, but if we do it, it will be very like, it won't be for the money. It will be to get the distribution and stuff. But I think the learnings, for me at least, there's been a lot of learning in the sort of quote unquote play to earn area, where for us it's been you earn where you vote. And one thing we thought initially was it's going to be difficult to get people to vote in different ways. But then as we started testing, it turned out that people actually like to vote on things if they get a small amount of rewards for it. So ever since we started experimenting that in Discord until now, we've seen our thesis was extremely wrong in that it would be hard to get votes because we've had millions, like over 10 million votes in the arena or something. But where the difficult thing was, how do you make the voting inclusive to bring on new people? So that's what we're going to try to get right with meme.com, for example. It's not going to be a close-knit group of users that do like an 80-20 principle. Maybe rather the idea is we're going to do more like a quest feed like structure where you can only vote X amount of times to get a certain thing, to incentivize more people to come in and do the same thing, as opposed to keeping it with a very close amount of users. That could be one thing, but yeah. Another thing that we learned, before the first version of meme.com was actually very simplistic. It was, like I mentioned, the platform you went to, we had different meme tokens representing different things. And even though that was a complete failure in terms of like like how long people used it and actively engaged with, trading it and so on, we got a bunch of fun answers in that the people who actually engaged with it, they really liked representing these memes in different ways. But it was the actual financial side where you buy and sell them. Maybe that lacked authenticity because, who are we to mint meme tokens of something? And so that's another thing that we hope will be a learning until what we're now building with the, I guess, new version of meme.com. We can go into that later, but it will be completely different. It won't be something you trade, but something you like earn and get added into, so you feel a belonging, but it won't be a financial thing. So hopefully that will work with authenticity side. But yeah, it's just a very long list of learnings. And one thing that's worked really well for us is just focusing on staying alive, being there if and when it happens. For us, like we started early 2018, and then when NFT started bubbling in 2020, we were there. We were able to raise some money from investors because, we had a lot of experience in NFTs. And so I would guess in 2 years, 3 years, when the next hype cycle comes, we will be there yet again with maybe something that even a really interesting scalable social platform around these topics. That's the goal, at least. And so that's what we're prioritizing for.
Excuse me, this may be like a good segue, and I would love to hear this story and should probably provide some like back context. So like, maybe 6 months or so ago, the WIP, like Matt and myself's like weekly virtual meetup, we're sort of looking to rehome. We had like a home, like a good home within Token Smart, but we're looking to like sort of form like a partnership with someone that would actually help us to grow the WIP in a way that we believed in and whose like goals aligned with us. And we had a lot of conversations with a lot of people and tried some places out, and nothing quite felt right until we like landed in Meme Explorers Discord. And it was, I don't know, almost felt like a homecoming of sorts. Like a lot of our communities, like we didn't realize, at least me, overlapped as much as they actually did. And it was really awesome to see. And listening to both of you talk about this like experimental, like iterative approach to this bigger vision, just like rings so true. We've like never really had this like, philosophical conversation, like despite that, we meet pretty regularly now. But like, I'm sure Matt is like feeling the same thing. It's just like, that's really the approach that we've had with the WIP this entire time. And so y'all have, and so, it seemed like and seems like a perfect match. Like y'all have been really good to us as the WIP community. You've met with us regularly. We've been like working on ideas. We have like, again, some sort of like broader vision, like where this is going, but like, share the same philosophy of like continuing to like fuck around and iterate and like scrap ideas if they're not good and try new things. And would just love to hear like your side of the story in terms of like, whoa, why did it make sense for y'all to take us on? We're sort of like a wacky crew that does our own thing in the metaverse, and y'all have really like been great to us and given us a nice home, but also let us do our thing and with like no questions asked, and have actually like given us a lot of support to continue to do that. So would just be interesting to hear your side of the tale as to how this whole thing ended up happening.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it felt like the same community almost just coming together. But I remember listening to some of your first podcast episodes, I think late 2019 or something. And it was the first time I felt like these guys are actually talking about the same things that we are thinking about, like crypto art and collectibles. And, it wasn't called play to earn back then, but using tokens to incentivize certain behaviors and so on. in a social way. So ever since then, I've been a bigger fan of you guys, and I felt we share the same values. And then I've been a fan for the WIP since it started, basically. Been attending regularly since early 2020 or something, and I've always felt that it's a great thing, great community. And when you guys were saying, "Hey, we're actually going to leave Token Smart," I reached out and say, "Hey, maybe we should look at doing something together to take this to the next level." And it turned out very well. I agree. I think it's a great fit, and it's great to see the WIP growing pretty much week over week since we started that. So yeah, it's really cool.
I think also like the background of our community, like when we started 18, we have always been quite open towards like discussing other projects and stuff like that in our Discords. It's not like only focusing on Marvel cards. It's more than fine within the community to discuss other things. And I think that helped to have like this open mind discussions that keeps people happy and interested. And it feels like the WIP is the same thing that is in the metaverse. So it's kind of like it's a very good match of just having this openness rather than focusing on just one core product. And then maybe also that since we are working like Marvel Cards is about minting NFTs based on a bookmark. MEME.com is about submitting NFTs and in some way ranking them. This is generic, so it's not like just focusing on a specific area. It's working within any type of project. So it's hopefully bringing together people who are interested in the area of crypto and the next steps. So
yeah. And I also think that the Meme Explorers Discord, we have Marvel Cards and meme.com, and adding the WIP, it becomes almost like not an incubator, but like a home for these types of open, vibey projects, I guess.
I love the fact that you didn't say the C word when you're talking about what you all are doing, what the meme Discord is, the WIP, but I mean, the catchphrase that every project in this space has used over and over and sort of has bastardized it and stripped it of all meaning is community. But from the very beginning, Marvel has been very, very attentive and very caring and very doing everything they can to cultivate community. You're doing that with Meme, and going into the Meme Discord, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's almost like going back to Scent back in the day when everyone was alive with ideas and excited about the future. Like you are great stewards to community, like this very live, organic, very sensitive organism that you can do so much with if you treat it right. And I mean, the ability to constantly experiment and share new ideas with the community and have the community resonate with it or reject it and then kind of come back again with an iterated new approach is testament to your ability to really manifest and again steward this community. But I'm curious, like, because it is such a bastardized word almost in this space, like what does community mean to all of you? Like, is community a word that you even think about these days, or curious about how you think about that concept?
I think people, especially recently, they've been pumping their bags in the name of community. And that works to some extent. Like, number go up is a very good marketing vehicle, and getting good marketing and more eyeballs and more exposure, it means that you become a bigger entity. So there are good sides to that as well. It's not only negative. And we could probably have done some of those things better to be, even bigger than we are today. But I think the approach that we have had, it means that we've been able to keep a lot of our core community members for a long time. And a lot of them have now turned into actually people working full time on the project, but also a lot of like individual, like not working for the project, but working on things related to the project. So we have some guys building a game based on marble cards. We have some guys building like a crypto education school using marble cards and like the rewards you can get for doing different things, and a number of other things. And we have this sort of pool that we use to reward the best contributions each month. So I feel now we're at a place where we have such a big community of active people building things, not because they want to get paid, because they love the story, they love the reason of existence for why we do things, and they're in it for the long run. So yeah, to me, community is just aligned vision and there for because they want to be and because it's fun, and maybe not primarily because they want to sell it or exit or make money off of it at some point, even though that is important as well.
I also think that it depends on how you build your project or company or what you define it as. I feel like there is quite a lot of crypto projects that are more run by like a company where you have a few individuals that are deciding a lot of the stuff that you are doing. The background of me and Johan is we are from Sweden. We are like used to kind of flat organizations. So we try to build this as a team or community together early on, trying to get people involved and like trying to get feedback and just doing what people together want to do, rather than saying that this is what direction we are going to take and this is what we're developing. And I think that does differentiate how our Discord and community is, because we are really trying to do what people are interested in doing, like as a joint group, or like and that's also, as Johan said, we have a few people that have been part of this community for a long time, and now they are working full time with the project. And it's not a hard line between being active before and after. I wouldn't like, it's not a community. It's interest group of people just having fun together, or community in a good sense.
Yeah, it's fascinating how, like, sort of as a byproduct of just like being out here genuinely trying to do like fun and interesting things, like communities sort of spring up like organically around that, and then like suddenly you like have this responsibility to the community, and it's an amazing thing to just sort of see unfold. And I think that's some of the one of the things that our projects like both overlap in. Can we take like a little detour? Like, I feel like Crypto Voxels is like a weird convergence point of like all of us. Like somehow we've all sort of found ourselves like also being huge fans of Crypto Voxels. Even before, like, we host the majority of our events in there, but I know y'all have gigantic builds in there and do things in there as well. Can we like take a little detour and talk about like why Crypto Voxels is like something you all have also chosen to focus on, even though it's not like totally directly related to like meme explorers or marble cards, but it is, it isn't type of thing.
I fell in love with Crypto Voxels in 2018. At the time, you had Decentraland. There's like, this is so awesome, the Metaverse, virtual worlds, yada yada, awesome stuff. But they didn't have anything out except the token. But then along comes Crypto Voxels, where you could actually walk around on the land. You could buy a parcel and actually build yourself. I'm not a designer, that type of person, but I could build in there because it's a Minecraft setup. So that's what spawned my interest. And then I personally feel that Crypto Voxels were a big part of why crypto art sort of hit in 2019 when they added the NFT frames and stuff, and people started, what should I put on my walls? Well, obviously it's crypto art, and then sort of exploded from there. And I feel that they're a big part of why I love NFTs. I also love my builds there, where I put up my favorite stuff. And then with Marble and Meme, because that's another thing I like about it, is the complexity of building. When people see CryptoVoxels, like it's a simplistic thing, Minecraft, where you add boxes, but actually I would argue that it's the most versatile building experience. So if you want something really, really nice, you need to hire an architect, and they need to do really, really detailed work, but you can build anything in a very, like, it doesn't have a set style. So you can build any style you want. So when we discovered voxel architecture and using Hogar, that added another level to it, trying to build some of the best builds in there. And so it's just a big fan. So it's a passion thing for me, at least.
And I think for us in general, we are like, both me and Johan want to try new things, maybe sometimes in different ways, but we're trying to, like, what is the next thing in this space, and Metaverse has always been there that is interesting. So I think that's one reason why we early on had some events with Marble Cards community in CryptoVoxels and did some builds there.
I think we were among the first projects to have like a Metaverse headquarters where all of the community could come in. Everybody got build rights and they could put up their favorite cards and stuff. This was in 2018, 2019, early 2019.
Yeah. And for us, I think that goes along with our interest in trying to get interest from the community, trying to build new stuff. And CryptoVoxels have been, we have done a lot of things just for people to put up their cards they're owning, or doing like events and competitions and these kind of things. So it's been an interest within our community to do stuff there, and that have helped us to put more time into it, but also that actually people in our community have built these different jumping courses and stuff like that people are liking to do. So
and from a community like platform standpoint, it's the mini game in a sense. So we have some of the community members, they're building mimetic artifacts, for example, Pepe and Doge and whatnot, inspired like maces and wands and swords and so on. It's yet another engagement vector where people can engage, be active and contribute in different ways. So
yeah. And thinking of the metaverse, or like a virtual world, or like a 3D website where folks can live, work, and play as another vector for engagement, it's very similar to how I think about at least the current version of the quote unquote metaverse these days. But again, like community metaverse is a word that a lot of people seem to be abusing as a way to kind of cash grab as much as they can at this current moment. Every new project coming into this space is quote unquote launching a metaverse. It's kind of annoying to see, especially because it's even worse than like Decentraland back in 2018, which was just an idea, just a token, but nothing that you could actually mess around with like CryptoVoxels. It's just, you're seeing that happen times 1,000 these days.
Yeah.
Sort of like that's not a spicy take, but it has a little pepper in there or something like that. Some pepper.
I think it was quite similar in 2017, 2018, but back then it was a DAO. It was like the end thing in the roadmap was become a DAO and like exit the community and all these things. And fast forward to today, now we actually have some quote unquote DAOs, like, or at least the seed to something along those ideas. So I would expect the same thing, like in 3-4 years. We'll probably not have functioning metaverses, but we'll have the seeds to something that would then evolve into, something when people think of metaverse today is, we'll get there over time. But I think it's very premature.
Yeah. And on that thread, let's try to keep it sort of positive but spicy, and then like let's look forward to sort of what you're just alluding to. But until now, like, what have both of your like best moments been in quote unquote the metaverse, and what are your like spiciest takes on where the metaverse is today And then if you have to kind of put your binoculars up to your faces and look at where the future is going when it comes to the metaverse, where do you see it going?
For me, the strongest experience is still when I visited Conlon's build in Gangnam, built by a lot of money, and he put up his, especially his Matt Cain piece, which he had at the time. This, what's it called? Yeah, some
Rose
Nexus.
Rose Nexus.
Yeah, Rose Nexus was the building, but the painting by, or the piece by Matt Cain. This is us. This is us. I think that was such a profound experience for me because I hadn't been that into art before. Because I'm a digital person, and like physical art, it never really resonated with me. But that sort of spawned my interest of art and why that's important. And you know, it also I could relate it to me. It's like it's the foresight of an artist to be able to capture certain trends or moments in time. So yeah, that build and the stuff Conlon put in there, that's still probably my strongest experience. I also really liked our first jumping course at the WIP in the meme
legendary.
Build. That was fun. That was also a while ago now, but yeah, that was fun as well.
Yeah. For me personally, I would say both, like most experience within our own builds, that was been, but the most wow is probably seeing like the difference before you had all the art in CryptoVoxels and then when it started popping up, because I think it was a turning point for understanding how this can become something different. Because before, still, like NFTs, they were NFTs, but it felt more physical in a way, when you can see it on a wall, when you can almost touch it, and maybe that's kind of like where it's going. Like I would
argue the gallery thing is like the main use case for virtual worlds at the moment in crypto. I personally don't have any other use cases I engage with in any of the worlds.
But like we are discussing, like since we are fully distributed teams, even though me and Johan lives close by, we haven't seen each other in a long time. We live more digitally than physically in this project. It's kind of like, when could Metaverse be a place where you actually meet people? When can you have your workshops and stuff like that? I really look forward to that. When I don't know from a technology point of view what's needed, how far do we need to get, but I guess it's facial expressions, it's probably like hand gestures and stuff like that, and eye tracking and stuff. But when you get there and when you get that feeling getting into CryptoVoxels or any other metaverse and you feel like you are with that other person, that will be a huge thing. And then you can do then you could truly have like these conferences in Metaverse instead, because right now, sure, it's super fun being there, but you do not have this eye contact. I think that will make huge difference.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like I would argue some of the non-crypto platforms there are starting to get pretty good. But for me, I'm excited about, for example, VRM support in CryptoVoxels because I've designed my own avatar with crypto avatars. For me, that would probably mean that I want to be in there more, but I don't know. It's very hard to say. I also have this, one trend with the crypto stuff is, they're building the games and they're building all of the experiences and whatnot. I think, maybe it will be other platforms that are sort of focused on that stuff that will do it the best. And then maybe we can have some layers on top of that with tokens and bringing in NFTs and stuff. I don't know. But I think it's close. I hope there will be a new headset soon that will be next gen.
Yo, seriously. I really like your take that crypto voxels played a big role in like the rise of crypto art. I feel like that's right on point and has been largely ignored and buried in like, the overall recent hype cycle and everything. So I don't know if that's like a hot take or a spicy take, but I think that's like an alternative take that not many people think about, but is entirely true. I feel like a lot of people started experimenting around with that around the same time. So that's a good one, man. Y'all know, appreciate y'all always, supporting our stuff and listening to the podcast and supporting the WIP and everything. We love to do a shakedown on the podcast. And I know as fans of this space, y'all probably got a lot of interesting stuff in your wallet at this point. So totally unrelated stuff, anything you've been interested in, hoarding, what do both of you have going on in your wallets these days?
I can start. It's going to be a shill fest, but for me, it's like I buy some things, cheap stuff, just because I like them, but I haven't done any big purchases in a while because I feel what I have is it's at a level where you don't have to buy into everything. But my favorites are the classic, like punks, autoglyphs, a rare Pep Nakamoto card. That's one of my favorites. Some art blocks, Fidenza and stuff. Some 101 art, super rare, Hakata, or stuff like that. Obviously, CryptoVoxels builds. Some of my favorite NFTs are actually marble cards from Know Your Meme. I'm a big fan of those. Yeah, that's it. I think.
It's a heavyweight wall to casually throw around.
Casual flexes.
I have
flexes.
I don't know, 3,000 NFTs or something. So it's
I'm less heavy collector, but I feel like my interest in, like, when we started meme.com, we started like exploring what is the history of memes and meme NFTs, and for me that has been interesting, like finding what is the oldest Pepe or Pepe NFT, what is the oldest Doge NFT and stuff like that. So these kind of things I'm a bit excited over, because I think that's like the oldest thing will always be the oldest thing, and it's interesting, but also like, yeah, of course I love marble cards and collecting them, and but it's more like, as we used to say, it's the IKEA effect. You create them yourself and then you want them. The value is probably not more than you want to own it, but it's still like, as when you take a photograph and you frame it on the wall, if you taken it yourself, you like it, and I feel that a bit. So yeah.
I agree with the age stuff. That's one thing we're trying to facilitate with meme.com. So you'll be able to go into with different trends or memes and see, okay, I go to Doge, I see a timeline of actually the first Doge is a Doge Party NFT from 2014. I guess that's one of the things we'll learn too, Mattias. That we actually discovered by going deep into the sort of heuristics for these NFTs. And hopefully meme.com can be a place to shine a light on timelines of different things, as well as, whatever it is, Metaverse items, like early swords or early sneakers or whatever it is from the super early CryptoVoxels days, stuff like that, trying to find the trends and then categorize them and tell a story of what transpired. It's almost like a Pokedex for memetic NFTs. It's very, out there, but we'll try to make it into a package that people understand.
Totally. And then before we do wrap up, just make sure that you all hit the folks with all the handles, all the Discord URLs that they need to be following. If you have any like key dates coming up, let them know that. And if there's anything that we missed, make sure you let the folks know what they need to know before we wrap up.
I mean, the folks should be at the WIP every Thursday. That's the main thing. If people want to follow me on Twitter, I'm not the best at Twitter, but at Johan Unger. That would be mine.
And I'm at Tyberg, TYR and our Discord is at GG/meme Discord GG/meme explorers.
There we go.
And yeah, that's the main. And we are meme explorers on Twitter as well. So yeah, follow us there.
And y'all have meme.com, which I feel like is sort of incredible.
Seriously.
People should know
There's
that.
a fun story. There's a fun story behind that, actually. So we were accepted to the Outlier Accelerator, Outlier Ventures, which is an amazing incubator and investor in the space. And one of their things was, when you go in there, they force you to take a step back, look at the big picture. What are you trying to achieve? If you could do anything, what would you be doing? And that's in part where we got this. Maybe we should take a step back and look at the meme market. That's what we're passionate about. That is what we want to try to achieve. And then we knew we wanted a good domain, and we saw meme.com was available for $1 million something. And then at that time, we were among the first projects to deploy on Polygon or Matic with marble cards after DeFi summer. And marbling was priced in Matic. It was like several hundred Matics per card initially. And people were marbling, over months. And then all of a sudden that hype came and Matic went like 100x. So we were actually able to fund the domain purchase with marbling proceeds combined with luck in the markets with that one pumping extremely. Yeah.
And a lot of luck. But yeah.
But this was also at the time when punks started selling and the first $1 million sales were happening. And so we thought, we should maybe also invest because we got this money by the market gave us this money with luck. And so we should invest in something long-term from the project. So we bought meme.com.
But that was still a long discussion regarding to buy it or not. And that was it was not an easy decision, even though afterwards it feels like it was totally the right thing to do. But it's a lot of money, but comparing it to it's a punk or it's ape or whatever, it's like you have had these NFTs selling for more than what we bought the domain name for. And there is only one meme.com. So I think whether we will have a pump in the domain names, I don't know, or if it's but just comparing the prices, it felt like it.
I'm comfortable holding that bag. I think a long term should be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Well, Johan Mattias, obviously this conversation is going to continue in the weeks and hopefully years to come. It was a pleasure having both of you on the Matthew and Rizzle show. Again, 12 p.m. Pacific every Thursday. You can find us in discord.gg/meme explorers at the WIP. Bring all your friends, come one, come all. Enjoy the best Metaverse meetup in all the world. And Johan Mattias, thank you for everything that you've been doing and keep on building.
This was great, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, y'all. Yeah, it was awesome.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Proof of Beauty. Proof of Beauty is an experimental digital experience studio. The blockchain is their canvas and the tokens are their brush. You can learn more about Proof of Beauty by checking out pob.studio. You can follow them on Twitter as well at PRRF Beauty. That's PRRF Beauty on Twitter and pob.studio on their homepage to learn more about their projects like Hash, London, and Publico. Thank you and see you in the next episode.